Well, yesterday, Kennedy Newswire had some good news. The Euthanasia Prevention Coalition applauds a ruling in BC appeal court on assisted suicide. Toronto, October 20th, 2013. CNW. The Euthanasia Prevention Coalition, EPC, intervened in the BC assisted suicide case in order to uphold the principles of parliamentary sovereignty and basic human rights. EPC is pleased that the court has followed the lead of Canadian Parliament, the Supreme Court of Canada, and a majority of parliaments and Supreme Courts around the world in finding that the prohibitions against assisted suicide represent an important protection against abuse of vulnerable people. EPC Legal Counsel Hugh Sheriff states, EPC is concerned about the safety, security, and equality of people with disability and seniors, which is central to the protections set out under the Charter of Rights and Freedoms in our criminal code. EPC BC Chair Dr. William Johnson states, the debate is over whether what the suicidal person proposes to kill themselves is a goal which should be shared and facilitated by the state. I'm glad he made this point because, see, what I've noticed is that a lot of times the people who are lobbying and campaigning to get laws passed, first thing they do is they get the government involved and crying everybody's shoulders with all their campaigns and all their documentaries and talk shows, crying in everybody's shoulders, making everybody feel obligated that it should be a public issue. And when they get laws passed, the first thing they do, like Michael Shivo did, was that he was a real example of a guy who ran the railroad, well, his lawyer, George Felix, did, and pushed to have laws passed. I think in Terry Shivo's case, it was a law to declare feeding tubes a medical service or whatever. And then after they got her fitted with what do you call those gastro feeding tubes, then he turned around and says, now I want the right to declare that she wanted to die. So he went through the rest of her life, ramming and railroading things through the media and the courts to have her killed off. So, and as soon as he got the law passed in his favor, then the rest of the time he's mouthing everybody off that, hey, this is not the government's business. Keep your nose out of it. That's what he told Jeb Bush, governor of Florida. He said, hey, it's not your business. Keep out of it. But he did force the government to make it their business, a public issue, to get the law passed he wanted. Okay, so this is a really good point that the debate is over whether what the suicidal person proposes to kill themselves is a goal which should be shared and facilitated by the state. I suggest that there are alternate goals like the treatment of depression and other symptoms to which the state should apply itself. When someone has lost hope for the future, finds no meaning in their life, and sees only one solution, death, we recognize a suicidal depression. The bleak tunnel vision should evoke suicide prevention, not euthanasia. Disability rights advocate Amy Hasbrook of Toujours Vivant, Not Dead Yet, states, people with disabilities, chronic illnesses, and seniors are negatively affected by assisted suicide and euthanasia because it leads to the impression that our lives are lacking in meaning and value as compared to other Canadians. EPC Executive Director Alex Schadenberg states, the evidence is clear that in jurisdictions where these practices have been legalized, there have been significant abuses of vulnerable people. For example, studies in Belgium demonstrate that 32% of people killed under the Belgian law were killed without consent and without their own request, in breach of a fundamental condition of that law. Not one of these doctors has been prosecuted. EPC will seek to intervene should this matter be appealed to the Supreme Court of Canada with a view to protecting dignity and the equality of all Canadians, particularly those who are most vulnerable to the risks of abuse from assisted suicide. I really like that. That's Go Guys Go. This is a happy Thanksgiving weekend, and I wish you all a happy Thanksgiving.